Yes, we're back. It's your boy, Eduardo Jackson, CEO, founder of Cinema Draft, and the owner of blacksandbitcoin.com, where everybody's welcome, but I stay black, loving Bitcoin. And the purpose of this podcast and the site is to bring all newbies and hodlers alike into a mutual joy and love of crypto. And I'm very excited today to have my first non-related guest. You know him from being one half the Black Republican, Black Democrat, Twin Cities FM radio podcast. He's also a banker at Wells Fargo by day and cryptocurrency crusader for Ripple by night. It is Patwin Lawrence! What's going on, Patwin? And we lost Patwin. No. Oh, I'm so sad. I had him all set up and we lost Patwin. Hopefully he can jump back into the call. Hopefully it wasn't all of my theatrics that was making it happen. Anyways, Patwin, come on back, Patwin. We'll be right here for you. We'll just keep on recording. Basically, and also just to tease next week's interview, which should hopefully... There he is! Welcome back, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so what happened?
It's probably my setup. I'm sorry we kicked you off. I'm glad you're back. I just gave you a nice, great, big setup. Called you investment banker by day for Wells Fargo and a crypto crusader for Ripple at night. So go ahead, Patwin.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself to the people. What's going on, man?
Oh, right. I'm doing well. Thanks. Thanks for having me on. It's been an interesting couple of days, actually, with the market. It's been very interesting, but I'm excited because when you see all the red, that means it's sales. I love good sales. It's always about getting a good deal. So if anybody had, yesterday, or maybe this morning, yesterday, and previous days, if they thought, oh, this is a good time to, scoop up some coins that I hadn't had in my portfolio, it was time to do it. I did it. Go and you look at CoinMarketCap or whatever website you use to kind of watch cryptocurrency, you will be very pleased right now.
Absolutely. So, and actually, I do want to get to the sales in a moment, but my first question, and I think it's going to be like my first question every time I interview someone, and you are our guinea pig. You're my first my first non-related guest, not the coin mom this time on this podcast. My first question I definitely want to know from everyone who comes on this podcast is, I call it the brown sugar question. When did you first fall in love with crypto?
I would say I first fell in love with crypto back in 2013 when I realized I had missed out on Bitcoin. And it's kind of the story that a lot of people have. I first heard about it in 2011, but it had just hit, I think, like $32 or so. And I was like, oh, I missed that. And so then I just kind of didn't pay any more attention to it until November of 2013. And that's when it hit $1,000. And then I was like, oh, I didn't miss out, or I would not have missed out if I would have acted on it a couple of years ago. And I missed out again. So I was like, you know what? I'm not missing out anymore. And so what I did is more at Bitcoin. I actually looked at the other coins. Okay. And that's how I found Ripple. Ripple was actually, I think, probably number 2 or 3 at that time. And Litecoin was there. I remember Litecoin was like maybe $2 at that time.
Wow.
And then I was like, I really like Ripple. I really like what they're trying to do in terms of taking over payments and being kind of an Internet of Things. And that's when I invested. And I invested less than $1,000 because I was a little unsure, of this. The rest is history.
And how much was Ripple when you got into it? Like how much per Ripple, per XRP?
0.006.
Oh my Lord, you are Ripple rich right now, huh?
Yes. So I put in less than 1,000, and so kind of my only regret about that is, of course, is like not putting in more.
Right.
But it's not really even about that. It's about that's what I use to then grow. And as you know, how, Ripple has gone over, the past, even this past year, those funds that you have now built to then diversify and to get into other coins as well. And so I think that's actually probably one of your questions later on. So I
Yeah,
could
well, no,
talk a little
actually,
bit
and
more about that
actually,
then.
I mean, we'll get into diversifying in a second, but actually, you're gonna be the
Okay.
poster boy for Ripple for a second, only because it's such
Okay.
a divisive coin that's out there. I personally was anti-Ripple until I went onto your show, the Black Republican, Black Democrat podcast, and
Yeah.
you basically explained to me why you like Ripple. So explain to everyone else why you like Ripple and why you think it's worth investing in or hodling even in the short term.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I think what Ripple is trying to do in terms of being, dealing with the payment systems between banks, but then also diversifying and looking at other ways, to how to be, impactful with the payment system. And so, first of all, between banks with like Swift, where they do quadrillions of dollars of, you know, um, money movement a year. Ripple is trying to get a portion of, well, really, I think Ripple's trying to get all of it. But, even if they only get a portion of it, just think about what that will do if they utilize, the token, the currency with the payments, because that has been the concern. I think that's actually one been the second largest concern people have had about Ripple. The first being it's centralized,
Yes, very
and
centralized.
so both of those points are not true.
Oh, Ripple's
Ripple
not
is working on that.
centralized.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's becoming more decentralized, and so
Oh,
they
okay.
that's something
Explain
that
how.
they've
This
been
this is
working on
news.
over the past couple of years.
Yeah, no, no. Please explain how it's less centralized because that seems to be one of the biggest arguments against it, and it was one of my initial concerns before I realized, like you said, all the trillions, I guess, quadrillions of
The
dollars that
quadrillions, yeah,
the quadrillions that ooh, wow, that's more than trillions,
yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
The quadrillions that are
That's
exchanged
beyond a
between the banks.
thousand.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go
And
ahead.
so yeah, and so yeah, yes, and so that's what they're trying to do. And as you know, they've announced, they're partnering with
MoneyGram, right?
MoneyGram,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
partnering with MoneyGram, and then they also have a couple other household names that should be coming out soon. Some people have speculated it's like Uber and Amazon,
Oh.
but we'll
Oof.
see.
Ooh.
And the
You got
reason why
the
people
inside
came up with
banker
that is
dope,
because
y'all.
people who, well, but that's where people have come up with those two names is by going through Ripple's presentations that they've
Okay.
given, throughout the world, and they've had Amazon and Ripple as Amazon and Uber as examples up there, and people feel, well, you wouldn't be using a company's logo like that, and unless there's some kind of talks or
Mm.
partnership. So that's why people. So it may not be those two companies, maybe something else.
Okay.
So, but that's the speculation. The thing is, so what Ripple is doing is just amazing, and it's something because payments are taking a long time, to process and to settle, and
Mm.
so in terms of the real world, time and transactions that Ripple is able to, our XRP is actually able to do. I mean, it's going to be groundbreaking for the financial industry. And as you know, the bankers, they're on top of everything anyway. Some people think they control the world as it is. And so, they want to keep tabs on staying relevant. So these people that think that cryptocurrency is going to replace banks and that the bankers are going to be yeah, you're just dreaming. That's not going to happen. If anything, they're already, probably in control of what's going on, or trying to seize control, as what we've seen with, the influx of money that has been coming into the cryptocurrency market. And then also, looking at, like the Bitcoin futures, and and then also what other governments are planning to do, with cryptocurrency, the positive things, and then also looking at the negatives too, because people are concerned about, uh, consumer protections and regulations,
Mm.
and how to make it safe, because it is volatile. And so how do you protect the interest, like we just had Bitconnect,
And we will definitely
that
get
whole
into that.
debacle.
Yes, we will definitely get into that later. And actually, and it's interesting you mentioned that because it seems like the crypto truthers, yeah, we can call them the
Mhm.
people who as someone tweeted yesterday, I came for the technology, I stayed for the brutal life lessons. The people who are here for
Yeah.
the technology, who really believe in
Yeah.
decentralizing everything and getting
Yeah.
more power away from the banks, whatever. Now to be fair, you do work in the central banking system. You work for a big bank, Wells Fargo, so you definitely have a point of view. But what I find interesting is that even though banks may not go away or may not go away quickly. I think eventually they'll probably go away, but it might take long, like 40, 50 years, because they will fight tooth and nail with everything in their power using, the cryptocurrencies, whatever
Well,
technology
it
is
will
available to do
just
it.
Yeah, well, it'll just evolve into something, also want to make it more efficient, obviously.
Yeah.
So that will happen. But the bankers have been in control, really, of human history and evolution, really, for since you could go back to, the Medici's
Medici's?
and
Yeah, yeah.
those Italian families, yeah,
Yeah.
back in the 13th, 14th, 15th centuries. And so they've been in control and their descendants. And actually, there was an article. Was like the New York Times or some major publication that was talking about Florence, and actually the same families that were in control 600 years ago are the same ones that are in control today
Oh
in
Lord, the
the city, because they
Rothschilds and all
looked
that
at
stuff.
the leaders. Well, no. It's not getting into all of that, but it's getting into wealth and how wealth is passed down generationally. And that's one of the things that have been a big interest of mine because of the work that I've done
Yes.
in terms of policy and politics and social uplifts, particularly with the African American community, and looking at our wealth numbers and looking at ways that we can improve those numbers because they're abysmal. And
Yeah.
it's not that we're going to catch up to have parity with whites because they're not going to stand still, and it'll
Right.
take almost 300 years. I don't know if you saw that article for African Americans to catch up with white Americans in terms of
Damn.
wealth. So,
That much.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
But
so
it'll
so
take
you
the
so you
Spanish
prefer
and the
so you're
Asians about 100.
right. So even if you're not about like disrupting the system, you figure it's best to work with the system you have than spending a lot of energy trying to fight it. Is that
Well, yes, that's true. That's exactly what should be done because, uh, well, the quicker way would be, in terms of, reparations, but that's, another discussion which I'm very
woo?
much in support of, not
I'm
because
here
it's a
for it. I'm here
handout,
for it.
but because it is owed and for services rendered from,
Yes, we
our
built this shit for
ancestors of,
free.
you know,
Yes.
exactly. So, but, besides, and then not just slavery, but then also Jim Crow
Hmm.
and, segregation and all the
Institutional
terrorism
racism.
that went
Yeah,
on to our
yeah. Redlining,
communities.
all that good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes.
It's all there.
So, but what people can do in the meantime, so on one hand, yes, you should be working towards political solutions, working with the system, no matter if it's a Democrat or Republican, and in particular, our community really needs to learn that and to hold our politicians accountable to make sure that we have mutual alliances with other communities and not let people co-opt our history, our struggle, and use it, and we get nothing in return. So that's one thing that we can be doing. But then on the other hand, what we can be doing is doing the social uplift within our communities, making sure that we have strong families where, where, I believe that, strong black men are marrying strong black women and having strong black children, and that they are educating those kids not only to know about themselves, but about the world, communicating with others, just like our culture had, 50 years ago, where education was seen as everything.
Mm.
Stressing education, stressing, going out and either starting your own business, becoming independent, or, excelling and, seeking those leadership roles and positions to move and elevate the community. And so that's something that can be done. And then looking at finances, managing your finances, how to build wealth, how to save. That's something that we don't do. Well, actually, no, actually, I take that back. We do. We actually have high savings numbers, but all we do is we just save, and some may not even save.
We,
It
we
might,
don't we don't
in the
have like
flower,
access or education about a lot of
you know.
investment vehicles. What you're saying,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And so, yes, so we do not utilize investment vehicles to grow our savings. So while you might accumulate $50,000 over your lifetime, if you would have invested, a portion of that, you would have a lot more to then pass on to your descendants. And wealth is everything in terms of the United States because we're a capitalist society. And if you look at people and the positions that they're in now, a lot of them come from backgrounds of, wealth or privilege or some kind of financial access. Whether you look at Barack Obama, from his grandmother gave him $500,000
Whoa! I
in
did not know that.
inheritance.
I did
Yes,
not know
yes.
that.
How
Oh,
many black families their grandma and grandfather gave them, $500,000, or, their
Bruh.
father went to Harvard. How many, of us can say that our fathers or others even went to, Ivy League schools? Not that that's the end all be all, but that's just an example.
Hey, Harvard is the Morehouse of white colleges. That's all I gotta say.
It is.
Major key.
I have a nice appreciation of that, having gone to Atlanta this weekend. Yes, and I really
Nice.
understand what like Benjamin Mays and the others were really trying to do that. And that's again, when we build wealth, we are able to then have more self-sufficiency and independence, where we don't have to depend on others to feed, clothe, educate, medicate, whatever our people in our community. We can do it ourselves. And when I was in Atlanta and I went Morehouse and Clark, Atlanta, and Morris Brown and by Spelman, and I saw the area in the community, I was thinking we really need think about our wealth position to be able to then improve the quality, not only the quality of our schools just physically, the grounds and all of that, but being able to have people that have resources to give to universities, to their endowments, to help them to grow. Just like you look at Harvard and Yale and all those who they send their alumni, send money, send checks. They
Oh,
put them in
please
their
believe
will and their
the
estate
Morehouse
planning.
Alumni Association is on my ass.
Yeah.
So they're definitely working on it.
Yeah,
And they're
they're
definitely
learning.
working.
They're
And
learning.
to be honest, like they've had facilities built and rebuilt since I've been there that we didn't have, as far as like a new, like the new dining hall, the Ray Charles Performing Arts Center. I mean, I was an English and a drama major. That really would have been helpful if we had that. But
Yeah.
I really loved your the focus on black empowerment and wealth. That's something I'm very interested in because I am black and I'm in
Yeah.
Bitcoin. It's
Yeah.
also a big
Yeah.
subject of the Black People in Cryptocurrency group. If you guys get a chance to check
Yes.
that out, it's a really good group. A lot of differing opinions and viewpoints in there too, but a lot of education as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the last question I want to ask you real quick is so you mentioned that you went, you basically kind of went shopping on these last couple of red days. What did you pick
Oh
up?
yes.
Anything
Yes.
interesting that you want to share with us?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to get because I kind of not stayed away, but I just kind of watched Cardano, for instance, and so I picked up some Cardano,
Cardano?
and
Okay,
I
so what
also
interests
picked
you
up
real quick
Power
about
Ledger.
Cardano? Because
Those are
I've
the
heard a
two.
lot
Yeah,
about
Cardano.
that.
Yep.
I've heard a lot about that. What interests you about Cardano?
Basically, the Japanese Ethereum, and they're actually
Oh.
consortium of scholars that are actually, and some of them had previously worked with to make a better Ethereum. So that's a coin to watch. And then of
Okay.
course Power Ledger, taken is based in Australia.
And that's the one that dealing with the power grids or something?
Supporters
Or?
of it is right. Yes. So one of the things I look at in terms of my portfolio and what I want to invest in at coin, because I mean, there's so many out there, and so people have this question: well, how do you know? And even the detractors, they're always well, how do you know what to invest? Something and lose it, the next day. Well, what your due diligence, and one of the ways that you what you can do to protect yourself is not first of all to diversify, but then also who are leaders in particular industries, like for instance, Power Ledger and energy. In terms of they're like the very first mover in cryptocurrency and dealing with with energy, and I'm sure others are going to be coming after them, as well. And then you look at kind of people who are improving on existing platforms and basically are setting up platforms that other people can utilize and build on that. And so you see that with Ripple, you see that with Ethereum, you see that with Lisk, you see that with I mentioned Cardano. There's one that in terms of banking,
Okay.
for example,
Yeah.
like type bank. Trying to, but you look at coins that are disrupting industries and that are going to have long range plans and ramifications within those industries, and those are the ones that you want to put your money behind. Verge is another one, in terms of what they're doing with privacy coins, and I think that's going to be
Okay. So what makes
huge.
Verge any better than say Dash or Monero? Because there are a lot of
So, well,
privacy coins
first of
out
all,
there.
it's yes, so yes, that's true. But it's also the community support, and they have a huge community support. But they do have a lot of people that are kind of angry at them, especially after what happened with
Leaking IP
New Year's,
addresses,
around
not
New
very
Year's.
private.
Yes, yeah. But you have to think of what they're doing. That it's making it, totally obfuscates the IP addresses, and it's something where you're able to have complete privacy, but then turn it on to where if you want to use their public ledger as well. And so you see that this is going to be a huge concern because, like we mentioned earlier, about regulations coming in. Because see, so right now we're in a really good period, and what your listeners should understand is that if they have not gotten in yet, they need to get in as soon as possible,
Okay.
because we're at a point now where I think this year is going to
Yes.
be the year of mass adoption in terms of, or I should say, the flooding in of institutional money. So, because a lot of people, have been talking to, brokerage houses and, their, investment advisors and asking about Bitcoin
They're
and,
woke,
and a
huh?
lot of, yeah, a lot of people, and they've done it, on their own, obviously.
Hmm.
But in terms of the big institutions jumping in, they're going to be doing that this year. And I think when that starts to happen, you're going to also see the call for regulation. And so then I think your privacy coins are going to really
Mm.
spike because, people want that privacy for whatever reason. And some people, there's some detractors like to use that and say, well, these coins were set up for, drug use and for neo-Nazis and for, all these negative things. But they seem to forget that our fiat dollars do the same thing too.
Well, and not only that, but I don't
So,
necessarily need someone to know how much I have of anything. I mean, it makes you a
right.
target, and it's unsafe, it's not
Yes.
practical. I mean,
Yes.
it's not even about like tax
Yes.
evasion or
That's
illegal
right. That's
activities.
right.
I don't need
That's
you
right.
knowing how much I
And that's
have. I'm not Trevon James. I'm not posting my Blockfolio every night. I don't need you knowing how much I have.
yeah, and that's
Bruh.
and that's right. And that's well, people just want freedom and they want privacy. And a good aspect of the whole cryptocurrency is about the open ledgers and that anyone can see them. And that's a good point. But I think there are things and times where people want privacy for particular reasons, not for anything nefarious, but for
Yeah.
very valid reasons. And I think that's one way that the privacy coins as well will spike. So that's why I also look at privacy coins as well. And so that's for me,
Well,
that's kind of has been my approach to investing in cryptocurrency. I know a lot of people like to go after these different fads and all of these different coins and and to each their own. But in
mhm.
terms of what I look for, those are the things, that
Well,
I
well, look,
mentioned.
Pat, when
So
you put me on Ripple when it was at 23 cents, yeah, I was not about that Ripple life, but after I went on your show, I was about that Ripple life. And look, and as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to XRP, even though it is highly bank affiliated, I feel it's probably the
hmm
banks, late to the party, grasp at trying to get into a cryptocurrency they feel
hmm
like they can control or dominate, whatever. It's not going to work. It's
yeah,
too decentralized. I mean, and regulation will
yeah,
probably come, but even still, it's by nature there'll be the rise of the
hmm
privacy coins or other ways to just kind of keep
yeah.
certain things private. So don't worry if
But don't
Ripple
count them
is
out. Don't
yeah.
count them out because with Ripple, see, so Ripple, out of all the coins, they have gone through the whole like regulation checks. Like they really
True.
have a big focus on that, and a lot of people on their board have worked in like the Federal Reserve systems. So yeah, so they're really positioning it so when the hammer comes down, which I do expect at some point,
Hmm.
because we've had this thing with Bitconnect, and I'm sure it's not going to be the only one,
Right.
or the only coin that's going to have problems. And then there's going to be an outcry, and then when the hammer comes down, I think that's when you're going to really see Ripple also take off.
Because it's
Not only
already
because of their
done the
connections, but
checks.
it's yeah, they
Yeah.
yes, and so that naturally makes them the one that coin. And so we're going to see the rise, Ripple even further,
I
and
mean,
you can see them, you can see their strategy.
yeah, it's a long term hodl, and I say that only because, like you said, you've got all the it's the one if all the coins it's set up to survive any kind of regulation, it definitely is Ripple. But also, even if
Yeah,
you don't believe in its mission, and quite honestly I don't, I think it is a little too
yeah,
decentralized. I think it is a little too bank friendly, but I'm here to make money. I'm out here to get these bags. So if
that's
it's
right.
gonna be off of Ripple and they're coming kind of late to the party with the bank or something like that, I'm fine with that. I'm more than fine with that
hmm
because I've gone from 23 cents to now what $1.51 today. It has
Yeah,
been
$1.51. Yeah,
bonkers. In like the space of a
yeah,
month and a half. So get your money,
that's
y'all.
right.
As at the quote Han Solo from Star Wars, I'm not in it for your revolution, sister. I'm here to get paid.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's
Yeah,
get to
that's
crypto
great.
in the news real quick. So, yes, as we're all aware by now, I'm sure, Bitconnect, or as they say on YouTube,
Yeah.
Bitconnect, had to halt lending and its exchange platform. Actually, there are. I mean, the BCC token is kind of at a standstill right now. They had to halt lending in their exchange. They were suffering under crippling DDoS attacks over the last 3 or 4 days. They said that the people who were doing it said they're not going to stop with the DDoS attacks. So they took that into account, along with the fact of two cease and desist letters, one from Texas, North Carolina, and all the bad press they're getting.
hmm
They're like, you know what? We out. Now, they didn't exit scam
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people are saying they did. What they did do, which some might say isn't terribly much better, is that they gave us back our loans plus a little bit of interest in the form of BCC, which is their proprietary coin, Bitconnect coin. Now, I've been hearing different rumors. Now, obviously, when they cashed out to everyone in BCC at one time, it made a mad rush for the door, mad panic to get rid of your BCC. I know I started to try to panic withdraw and stuff. Thankfully, I was not able to panic withdraw easily because the site was getting crushed from server load, and then also the other exchanges which were still selling BCC were also getting crushed under the load as well. Now the price of BCC dropped from the 363, which they said they were going to cash us out at, down to about what was it, like $21, $23 I checked a minute ago? It's pretty bad. But there might be a glimmer of hope now. Take it for what you will. Do what you will. A lot of the high level promoters who honestly have no incentive to even show their faces these days have gone on camera today to say that they've heard from fairly reliable sources that Bitconnect is looking to reopen
Mm-hmm.
their internal exchange because they shut it down temporarily while they're dealing with everything, and that they were going to pay us out. People who had made loans in the last 2 months are going to
Mm-hmm.
pay everyone out their money in Bitcoin in the amount of 363 per coin. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, with the price being $25 down from 363, I've got no choice but to hodl. I mean, what's the point? I mean, you never know the long term of this company. They're still working hard to create their exchange, their BCCX ICO. They're not abandoning that. They haven't left the face of the earth. So worst case, maybe I can get a little bit of value more than what we have right here down the road with the coins I'm left holding. Or best case, they actually deliver on the rumors. So I'm just going to hodl for now. What do you think about all this, Patwin? You weren't investing in
Well,
BitConnect,
I
were you?
think I stayed away from BitConnect because like I said, doing due diligence and kind of, and I kind of listen to what people say, in the chats and on Twitter and all, and you kind of you don't take that, you take it all with a grain of salt, obviously.
Sure.
So if somebody says, "Oh, invest in this coin on Twitter," or what, don't just do it based on that. But I kind of looked at how people were hyping up, kind of being in the investment world community. I saw there were a
And that
lot of
was the
things
worst
that
part
people were
too, the
doing
hype.
and
Yeah.
saying, yes, about it, that just did not look right. That's just not professional. And so I kind of stayed away from it. And then a lot of people that I trust that, I follow on YouTube, that are, kind of leaders in the crypto community. They were like, well, it's a scam, but some of them, they are testing it out just to see how it works, and
Mm-hmm.
for kind of the educational purposes. But yeah, and then here you go. This is what happens. So I think people need to use some of the principles from regular investing, like whether it's in the stock market or investments, and kind of apply that to crypto. Yes, it's kind of a different area, different field. Things are different, but a lot of the same investing principles are the same. And so I think just why I saw Trevon's is it Trevor or Trevon
Trevon
James?
James, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen his YouTube and I watched a couple of his videos, and
He's
I
entertaining. He doesn't know
never
what he's
set
doing, but
well
he's
with
entertaining.
me. I just was like, yeah, I don't know about this. And
Mm-hmm.
so there you go. And this is unfortunate because now this is people who don't want folks investing in cryptocurrency are now using this. You've got people who, are out there even as we speak, who are out there saying, see, we told you Bitcoin is bad. And
Yeah, and
they're
this is and
tying
this thing
this
that
all
blows my mind
together.
the most is that there's so many people who couldn't wait to cheerlead the implosion of this thing because they never got into it. And all I will say is this: while it was high risk as are a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrencies and lending
That's
platforms,
right.
period. And people want to call it Ponzi and everything, although I would counter the biggest Ponzi scheme in America is the American Stock Exchange with high frequency trading. Another story,
Mm-hmm.
but if
Yeah.
you but the thing about BitConnect is that that the only people who ever really spoke badly about it were people who never were into it. They never really missed a payment until recently, and then when they're shutting down, they're being fairly transparent. They didn't total exit scam like a BitBetite did. So I kind of give them credit for that, but also it was not a favorable outcome. I get it, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I think the hype in the end really kind of got to it. The hype of the way it was
Yeah.
being promoted, the way all of the promoters were doing it, the MLM system. Just do like maybe one one level, 5% on your first level, and just call it good. Like you're a Coinbase referral or something. Just do that. Don't have
Yeah.
to. When you have multiple levels, it does get very sketchy very quick, and
Yeah.
a lot of internal pressure to really push
Mm-hmm.
referrals. So
That's right.
I don't know. GG BCC, we're gonna miss you. I enjoyed getting those daily payments, but we are on to the next thing, and the next story actually is this Alibaba news. Have you heard about this, Patwin? Alibaba
Actually, no,
setting up a
just
crypto
from the
mining
notes that you
platform in
sent.
China.
So, no, tell me about it. Yes.
Yeah. No. So basically, everyone's been freaking out that China's kind of putting the screws to crypto miners, and making life difficult on electricity and stuff to the point where a lot of Chinese crypto mining operations are looking to places like Canada, who welcome them with open arms. And now you hear something about how Alibaba launches a crypto mining platform despite restrictions. Now, that seems, it's not even so much like it seems fishy. That just seems kind of strange to me as far as if they're trying to get all these miners out, why is Alibaba setting up shop and buying in? And the only thing that makes sense to me is that, as what's frequently called like the Amazon of China, although I think they're now bigger than Amazon. If Alibaba is setting up shop, then it seems like the Chinese government is clearing the path
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
for one crypto mining system, one
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrency market, and one
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrency market deliverer. So basically, they want to own the
Yep.
whole
Yep.
crypto market from soup to
Yes.
nuts, from inception to transaction to delivery, and that
Mm-hmm.
puts Alibaba in a prime position to deliver
Mm-hmm.
those things.
Yes. And if you know Chinese history and kind of how they've been operating in terms politically, this makes complete sense. But also look at it in the terms of how the rich operate too, and that's something that people, um, it's kind of a curse, kind of knowing history and just kind of things. But I can see how it's working in terms of the market. How you have the whales going in there and creating fear. People on Twitter creating fear, especially when certain coins they were like this happened with Verge, where it was just amazing. Just all the people coming out just saying it's a scam, it's all this and that, and it was just and all these crazy things and lies and because we're in a totally unregulated market, so people can get away with this where you couldn't, in other areas. What you see happening is they're positioning themselves now. They want to be the early adopters because these and these things go up hundreds, thousands of dollars. Then it's just an obscene amount of wealth that is, going to be generated for them. And I remember seeing an article where they're saying soon we're going to have trillionaires, and people were wondering,
Mm,
well, how could that happen through the stock market? Because we know Jeff Bezos, in theory,
105
is the richest
billion,
man
right?
on earth.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's really a lot of these old families that have had money for that really are there. But that's another story.
Okay.
But
Shadow wealth.
that's how being investing in cryptocurrency. I can see now. That's how we become trillion.
Yeah, owning the market, owning the means of production, all that stuff, and
Trillion.
something I found on Twitter. I mean, and Bitcoin Twitter is the best Twitter. Trust me, y'all. I mean, you get so much great information and rumors on there to get ahead of some trends. They're talking about VeChain, which I really hadn't heard about until this tweet. Where basically VeChain is kind of like I think they're building another platform that's kind of China centric on VeChain, and basically it kind of ties together all those rumors where they say that it's trying to be a goods exchange using both the renminbi, which did I say that right? Renminbi, the Chinese currency, and VeChain as payment methods that are the only accepted goods in which that are part of the VeChain ecosystem and can be tracked. So they're doing this for control, not surprise from a communist country, but they're looking to, like I said, to own everything in crypto in China from inception, transaction to delivery. Oh, did we lose you, Patwin? Are you there? Oh no, Patwin is temporarily mute. He might need to leave and jump back. Oh, there you go. There he
Yes,
is.
I
Okay,
think I
sorry.
got it.
Okay,
So
so so basically, I was just reading the tweet from Korean Jew, great name,
yeah.
where he says that they're looking to own the entire process of cryptocurrency in China. And once again, rumor, I don't
Hmm.
know how substantiated, but
Hmm.
this is where you get a lot of great information. Bitcoin Twitter.
Yep.
I actually have a list. Let me see. I have a list. If you look at my list, is it up there? Bitcoin. It needs to grow, and I'm actually trying to crib other people's members off their list. But if you follow on Blacks in Bitcoin or at Blacks in Bitcoin on there we go. Sorry about that. Hello?
I
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
I don't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me? Hey, how about now?
Okay, I
There
can
we
hear
go.
you.
All right,
Okay.
sorry about technical
Yeah.
difficulties. Still working out the kinks. Thanks for hanging with us. But yeah, so basically, Bitcoin Twitter is a great resource. Find some people on Twitter who are talking about Bitcoin. Lots of good information. Also, and then of course the big story of the week was cryptocurrency losing, was it 40% of its value or whatever over the week.
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of fear and loathing out there. And then it's already starting to turn. It is already starting to turn. Yeah, get them while they're
Hmm.
cheap. It's
Yeah.
big
Well, that's what
discount
people have to do.
crypto
People have
market.
to realize things don't just go up, 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 up forever. There's natural corrections. Everything's going to crash. Is the stock market going to crash? Yes. Is the cryptocurrency market going to crash? Yes, it
Yes.
is. But it's all going to keep. But if you look at a chart, it's all going. It's going in an upward direction, and so you just buy on the dips. That's what you do, and then let it just watch it when it's growing, and look at those opportunities. And when they come along, like I got Cardano, and I got some Power Ledger
Yep.
on the dips, and now they're up.
Yeah, and also what you need to do too. I mean, and as someone who's been hodling since early 2013, I mean, everything seems like it's the best day in the world or the worst day in the world, but just a touch of perspective here. One thing I like to now, yes, these hockey stick, charts look really cool and everything, but let's keep things perspective. I like looking at the log scale, the logarithmic scale, which is basically by percentage of market cap of or total value of a coin, how it reacts, and generally it's up and to the right in what looks like fairly, I mean, while these are all big jumps at the time or feel like in dollar value, they're actually really steady and up and to the right. So everybody chill, everybody relax. We all know in January, the market goes into a little bit of slump in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it for the last 4 years. Actually, I think I had there it is. The last four
Mm-hmm.
years, last 3 years, it goes into a slump in January. Some nonsense. Some people think it might be with Chinese Lunar New Year. Who knows? But
Mm-hmm.
we've seen this before.
There's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, yeah, just keep calm and hodl on. And from what I hear, the Wall Street bankers getting their bonuses next week, so everything's gonna be rosy again. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so
Well,
let's
but
get it.
I think what people need to do, like you say, people just need to hodl and think long term. I think of this as my retirement. That's what I
Mm.
think of it. Even though I have my IRA through work or 401k, um, I you know
How's that
I'm
looking compared
thinking
to your
of this as
crypto
my retirement, and
portfolio?
I might be able to retire sooner than later. But that gives me the mindset of not when things dip and all of that, but just keep it focused on like this is long term,
Right.
and these coins are still in their infancy, and big money has not yet come into the market. That's what people need to understand. It has not yet come in.
Yes.
So if you're in as an early adopter, like if the market for me to get
Yes.
back to the amount of money that I put in, the market would have to completely crash, and if that happened, we probably have other bigger things to be worrying about, like a
Yes.
missile from North Korea or something like that, where you won't be thinking about crypto. So, but that's the point in getting in early, so that you can. It's easier to weather the storm because you're always up, even if it goes down. So.
Amen. Amen. Yes. So now it is time for your favorite, my favorite. It is the honorary Trevon James coin count. Oh, where's my music at? Hold on a second. I had it all ready to go too. Here we go. There it is. Okay. Yes, our Trevon James honorary coin count, where I count my coins, and you get your coins, and we all get rich together. Now,
Yeah.
actually, let me change that a little bit. There we go. So now it was a bad week for the coin count. It was very stressful week for the coin count, but we still are in a position to make some money. Actually, I had my worst trading day in a while, or not even trading, but my worst hodling day in a while yesterday. Our coin portfolio was down 20% yesterday, but today we're only down one and a little bit, so we're already on our way back, and it was a pretty brutal evening. So here's Bitcoin. We saw what Bitcoin did last 7 days. It went on a wild ride. Bitcoin's going to do what Bitcoin's going to do. We are also, what else are we hodling? Let's go look at the overall currencies. What else is looking on its way back? Well, so on the last hour, it's a little bit down, but look at the last 24 hours. We're on our way back, everybody. ETH up 5%.
Yeah.
Ripple,
Yeah.
Ripple up 30%. Your Cardano 20%. Litecoin 5%. All right, struggle much. I'm getting more interested in Neo. We'll talk about that in a future podcast. Dash, come through, Dash. Dash up almost 11%. Monero, the privacy coin that we know for a fact works, up 9%. Tron, damn it, I saw it down there at like 4 or 5 cents, and I thought about getting some, but I'm like, you know what, we might not hit bottom yet. I'm just being greedy. It's already back up.
And where is it?
53%.
Where is it now?
It's at just under 8 cents, so 0.079 cents.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's making a comeback. Now it's not at the 30 cents earlier.
Just if they didn't have.
Yeah, go ahead.
If they didn't have a large market cap, that would just be so amazing, because all the money that's been flooding into there, but it takes it,
so much to move it.
65 billion, I think, is its
that's the supply. 65. Oh, that's market. Okay, is that the market cap? That is the market cap. No, that's the total supply. That's the supply. Okay, yes, market cap is 5.2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the total supply. Yes, that's right. The total supply. That's something that I've been watching. Looking at these coins and kind of seeing how they operate, and that's why I noticed. I've been seeing, since we, because I've been, kind of monitoring since it was at like 50 billion. In terms of market cap for cryptocurrency, and I've noticed I see money flooding in, but they're not necessarily going to the big coins. Our
Bitcoin dominance is down to 35%.
Smaller coins, and a lot of them are like those crappy coins that nobody, and
shit coins.
I really see that as a sign that people are just using that to create more money and then move out of those to then buy up more of the, the prime coins. But then also it makes it harder for people who get in later to be able to make bigger gains, because those coins will not have that exponential rise as they've had in the past, like Ripple, for instance, under a penny. Right. Now if you buy Ripple at $1, $2, you're not going to have as big of a gain, unless there's really mass adoption with it and it does take over Swift. Then you could be looking at 3-figure for Ripple, but that's something that I've noticed about the market.
Yeah, well, and also people see something like Bitcoin at like 11,000, 12,000, whatever plus, and they feel like it's just too big. It's just too big. It's too expensive. I can't get it. They want something they can actually own. So that's why Ripple's been very popular, because it's got a huge market cap and also it's affordable, et cetera, et cetera. And who doesn't want to throw like $20 at a coin and be like, yeah, if this thing ever gets to $1, and it's like 5 or 6 cents, they're sitting on some stacks. Yeah. So yes, that's a lot of psychology involved in a lot of these coins. Absolutely. Keep my eye on Binance Coin. That's performed pretty well over the last year, and I think it was like number 7 biggest gainer over the last year. Binance, the exchange, blowing up. Also, we are also hodling. So we looked at Dash, looked at Litecoin, looked at ETH, BAT, Basic Attention Token. They're gonna be making a big move, I think, in the second quarter of this year. They're basically coming after Google's advertising business. Good luck with that.
Yep.
They're up 42% on the day. Excellent.
But let me just comment about that real quickly.
Sure.
But just last week, before these comments about what Trump was saying about these different countries, there was actually it was actually on Twitter, it was trending that Google, Facebook, and others are censoring more conservative outlets and all, and people are really fed up with kind of what's been going on in terms of kind of stifling free speech and discussion. I think this creates an opportunity for the cryptocurrency coins that are kind of in that sphere, like Steam, for instance.
Absolutely.
Could benefit from something like this. And so kind of knowing that news, that's also an opportunity for investors to kind of think about, investing in these coins, because I think Google and Facebook and all are going to be challenged, in terms of, their hegemony they have over social media.
Yes, break up Ma Bell. Storage is also on its way back up, 15% back. And this is one that's a little near and dear to my heart. I found out about them about 4 years ago. Started by at least one Morehouse alumnus, Sean Wilkinson. They've been at this for a while. And then to hear about Filecoin coming in with some $257 million ICO, sucking up all the oxygen. And I'm like, Storage has been here for 4 years. Storage, and then basically the idea behind Storage is like a decentralized type of Dropbox. So instead of having all your stuff in the cloud centralized by Dropbox the company, you could have it decentralized, spread out on a network of computers. So there's no one single point of failure. I'm pulling for you, Storage. Get you some storage. And I like Storage because I got in at 70 cents. It's already more than doubled. So it's not bad.
Sounds like they're innovating the industry. That's something that they're doing. So that looks like something very interesting to
absolutely
look into.
Stellar. What are your thoughts on Stellar?
And it sounds like EOS. Are you familiar?
So sell me on EOS, because I've looked at it a little bit and I kind of didn't quite get it, so I backed away. But it sounds somewhat similar, right? EOS? Is that how you say EOS? EOS? Oh, did we lose Patwin again? Hello. Okay, well, so he says he's thinking about EOS. We might get into that a little bit later. Stellar is one I've had my eye on. Stellar is pretty, it's up 26% on the day. We like that out of Stellar. And then also Substratum, giving us our internet back. Substratum, here we go. It's looking like wow, 13% on the day. It's very encouraging. It's exactly what I like to see. And then also RCN, the Ripio Credit Network. Ripio Credit, RCN, there we go. Ripio Credit Network. Peer-to-peer lending, y'all. Making a comeback, 19%. Feel free to jump in any time, Patwin. And my apologies for everyone listening at home. This is our first time having a guest. So, we're going to have some glitches here and there as my CPU struggles to keep up. And then also the Bloom token is basically trading at about $1.46. It run up to over $2, now back to $1.46. I originally got into it at $1.26. So $1.46 is not too bad considering the blood and carnage of this past week. Are you back now, Patwin? Oh, no, I think we might have lost him. Okay, anyways, so that is your Trevon James honorary coin count. Thank you for participating. Love this stuff. Okay, so we're gonna soldier on. We're gonna look at our altcoin of the week. And actually, I need a horn. There we go. The altcoin of the week. This is going to be Electroneum. Let's check out Electroneum. This is an interesting coin. It's mostly because it is mobile based. It's mobile first. This is basically allowing you to be able to mine its currency on your phone, and it's a little bit kind of rare too. It's only available on Cryptopia, which was not allowing new users until just a few days ago. So once I saw Cryptopia was open, I went in there, snapped up an account, and I'm looking to buy some Electroneum. And basically, it's been featured in a lot of different places. It's based in the UK, huge crowd sale, 40 million hard cap, which they've reached. So they've got money to burn to keep developing out the site. Look at all this Bitcoin. Wow, that's a lot of Bitcoin raised for it. Oh, wow, that's a lot of Bitcoin raised. And it's really easy to use, easy to set up a wallet. I've printed up wallets myself. Those are all looking really good, and in preparation for when I do buy some Electroneum. And you can store it on your phone, store it on a paper wallet, and they claim to be unhackable. They claim to be unhackable wallets. I don't know about all that, but still security is, of course, a concern for most of us. So feel free to check it out. It's ticker symbol, and let's take a look at the ticker of it all. ETN. Come on now, ET. There we go. Electroneum It is at trading at 12 cents, an affordable 12 cents for Electroneum. So definitely go out and get some because it could be, especially with the whole mining from your phone. Think about how often you leave your phone on. I mean, we leave our phones on overnight while we sleep. You know, we just have them on for comfort sometimes for all of our notifications. If we could be mining and making cryptocurrency while we're doing other things while our phone is still on, well, that's something that's very interesting to me. So take a look at Electroneum. The ticker symbol is ETN, currently trading at 12 cents. Okay, so did we get Patwin back? Oh no, I'm sorry, Patwin. It looks like we might have lost you. But thanks for stopping by. If you hear this, if you are able to get back on and we can hear you, please jump back on. You've been a great guest. Thanks for putting up with all of our technical difficulties. My bad. Let's also swing around to the ICO. Did you know? This week's ICO, Did you know, is going to be focused on. There we go. Yep, no more Patwin. He might come back. This one's ICO, Did you know, is going to be focused on WePower on the ICO Drops site. And WePower is a blockchain-based green energy platform, which should be interesting. And basically, its ICO starts in 14 days. Wow. Oh, okay. 127,000 people are lined up for this ICO. That's pretty baller. Now, sadly, now this does meet all European regulatory requirements. Oh, is he back? Patwin. Hello.
Hi.
There you
I'm
are.
sorry. That was yes. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. It might be me. You know, like I said, I'm still figuring out the kinks. Hopefully, we'll be a lot better for people next week. Thanks for being our guinea pig. But we
All
just
right,
be,
no problem.
but briefly just covered Electroneum. Do you have any salient thoughts on Electroneum?
I've been hearing a lot about it, and I've actually been kind of monitoring it on, on CoinMarketCap. I know that they were working with mobile payments,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be huge,
Yep.
and that's something that's going to be done um, in Africa and Asia, Latin America. Those are huge. Those are huge places where uh, mobile devices are utilized. And actually, in America, actually in quote unquote minority communities, actually mobile cell phone usage is higher than it is in other areas, other communities. And so I haven't invested in it, but I'm just kind of watching and seeing what it does and learn. A lot of people are behind it and are supporting it, and I've seen a lot of hype, good hype for it. So, to say about it. Oh, I can't hear you again.
There we go. That was me, not you. Sorry.
Okay.
This is gonna be a very fun edit today. But
But
yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I do have one quick comment. There was one coin that I wanted to mention that I think everyone should kind of look at, and that's EOS. I don't know if you,
Oh, EOS.
not
Okay,
EOS,
yeah.
EOS,
Let's check that real quick. Yeah, what are your thoughts
not
on EOS?
EOS, but it's Ethos. Ethos.
Oh,
I just make sure I pronounce
Ethos.
everything correct.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm
Ethos.
I'm actually
Used to
on their
be
list.
Bitcoins.
Yes. I actually subscribe to something of theirs. I get like emails from them now. Yes,
Okay.
Ethos. Yes,
Yes.
yeah. Talk about
Yes.
Ethos real
So
quick.
I've been. Yeah. So I invested in them back in, I want to say, November, when they were actually less than $1. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to basically replace uh, Coinbase, and make a centralized wallet where you keep
Okay.
all of your coins and do all of your transactions through your own personal wallet on, whether it be downloaded the app or download on your phone or online. And so that's huge. That, I mean, I wish I'd gotten in on the ICO. That would have been
Mhm.
like, was the perfect opportunity. But I think that's going to be easily a 3 to 4 figure coin, in the
Wow.
future,
Yeah.
just because of what they are trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
And as you can see, they're only on, I want to say, Coin Exchange right now.
Oh,
But
really?
as soon as
Okay.
they get on other exchanges, yeah, because they made it up to about $10 a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
up to $10. Now I think they're at about
We're at
six to
seven
seven
thirty nine
dollars.
currently. Up
Yeah,
20%
yeah.
today.
Yeah, so that's a coin that people should definitely, think about investing in. Kind of look at what they're doing, read their white paper. but I think they're going to do some amazing things, and so people should keep an eye on that coin.
You heard it here first, everybody, on Blacks and Bitcoin. Ethos, get ready. And we were briefly covering WePower. It seems kind of interesting. A green energy, platform-based coin. And unfortunately, I don't believe it's available in the U.S. as is a lot of these coins these days.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I know it's really annoying.
Yeah.
But it's one to keep your
I've
eye
noticed that,
on.
like Tron.
We can get Tron. Well, Tron's only on Cryptopia, but I think. Was that the? Was it? Its ICO not available to us as well?
I think there was maybe it wasn't Tron, but I think it's like a lot of these other coins that are really high movers right now
Mm,
that are having a lot of like the momentum behind them. A lot of them are just in Asia.
right.
Or some parts. I don't know if you've noticed that with some of the coins, and like we wouldn't necessarily have access, to them at this time. Maybe in the future.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, what
but
sucks with some of
yeah,
these
that's
ICOs
something
is
I've
that
noticed
is
about a
that
lot of these
because
coins.
of regulatory uncertainty, a lot of coins just shut out U.S. investors entirely, which is
Yes.
unfortunate. But I mean, like the B token, a really hot one, which kind of came to my
Hmm.
attention recently. And unless you're an accredited investor, I mean, you just had no shot in the U.S. So
Yeah.
kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Also, let's
And
check.
that's interesting about being an investor. The
Mm,
accredited investor. People should look at that because you have to have a certain net worth.
yes,
And
so annoying.
when you're speaking about communities of color, how many of us are in that category? So that's something that kind of people should be, aware of, in
Yeah.
terms of how other communities get the advantage economically.
Economic segregation almost. It sucks. I mean, like you
Yep.
said, the whole
Hmm.
wealth disparity between
Yes.
African American communities and predominantly white communities. It's just, I mean, it's sad. So yeah, so that's why we're all here for Bitcoin and crypto in
Yes.
general. It's no barriers to
Yes.
entry, and we just want to find these great new coins that
That's
we can
right.
get in on for cheap. So we're, like we do
Yes.
every week, we're gonna put up a poll on Blacks and Bitcoin on Twitter, asking you whether you feel like you might want to invest in WePower. Take a look at WePower, go to their site, go to the ICOdrops.com/WePower. That's like an ICO watching site. And also and take a look and see what you can see as far as whether you should invest. Our coin poll for last week, which I believe was the Telegram ICO. Where did it go? Telegram, is this me? There we go. The Telegram ICO. Do you think you'll invest in it? And 6% said hell yeah, 40% said hell nah. So the yeahs have it. And let me tell you, I want in on the Telegram ICO. Have you heard about this one, Patwin? They're going to probably raise
No,
$1
tell me about
billion.
it.
So Telegram, you've heard of Telegram, right? Like the messaging service that all these different,
Yes.
coins
Yes. Yep.
use to a lot of times for like customer service, really, but also to kind of get messages
Hmm.
out about their coins and stuff. Telegram has over
Yep.
180 million daily active users. They add 500,000 a day. All right, they are
Hmm.
exploding out of control. It's from the guy who did like the Russian version of Facebook called VK back in Russia. He kind of got screwed out of his company by Putin and his cronies, and so now he's out with the new platform, Telegram. He owns most of it. He's looking to keep most of that control via coins, in
Hmm.
house. But still, they're looking to do, I think, up to 44% of the total offering in coins, and this could be one of the hottest ICOs we have ever seen. They've got 100. They basically have 180 million, ambassadors for the platform and the service. So the second they come out with a coin, it's going to be hot. I mean, it's going to be kind of like Kick starting up their own coin on the Stellar platform. They've got 50 million users
Hmm.
already in there. I mean, you want those type of coins that already have use cases, built-in audiences, and a platform ready for it to use. It's gonna be huge.
Okay.
Telegram. Yeah, I
Okay.
think they're calling it. They're
Okay.
going to
I'll
call
look into that.
the
Yeah.
unit a gram, like GRAM, and they're talking about calling it the Telegram Online Network. They're going something like TON is going to be another ticker for it. So keep your eye out for that. It's going to be really really big, really big. Okay. Oh, and it's that time. Ask a BTC guy. Send me your crypto questions. I'll give you $10 for my $10 in BTC from my Coinbase tipping wallet to the top 3 questions I get each week. You email them to me at blacksandbitcoin@gmail.com. I'll answer them on the air or the pod, and
Hmm.
you'll wake up one day and find $10 in BTC that you didn't have before. All right. So my first question is from Clara. And Clara asks, in this down market, are you selling or buying? Well, duh, we are not selling.
Nope.
We are not selling.
Yes, not selling.
Yes, the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking selling. We are not selling. We are hodling, baby. We're in this for the long haul. That's why I stress
Yes.
only hold coins that you believe in or know or understand what they do, because that will definitely get you through, the rough patches and the rough weeks as you will always have in any kind of investment. So
That's
yes,
right.
Clara, thank you for your question. $10 BTC will be on your way after this podcast, but we are not freaking selling. Miranda actually had like 4 questions. We're going to whittle it down to 2 because we're running a little over. Do you have any tips for beginners to the whole crypto game? And what are some of my favorite coins to hodl in 2018? Well, hopefully, Miranda, you've been listening or watching the podcast. We covered a lot of our favorite coins. If you're
Yeah.
if you're looking at just getting started, I have what I like to call the Bitcoin Starter Kit on blacksandbitcoin.com. On the left-hand side, click the Bitcoin Starter Kit, and this kind of gives you a nice, well, I wouldn't say brief, but a fairly detailed overview of how you can get started. Everything from what is a Bitcoin to how do I get some to how do I keep mine safe. I mean, and when I wrote this in like 2014, I really was about that security. I was doing offline transactions, Patwin. I was like, I was super paper wallets and safes and baggies inside safes, waterproof, fireproof. I'm gonna get back to that. I mean, security is very important. I'm gonna get me a Ledger Nano S pretty soon. But yeah,
Hmm.
secure your coins. Secure them. How do you secure your coins, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, actually, my coins, I actually am living a little dangerous. Makes it easier, I found, to going in and out sometimes into coins if you just want to like increase. Like for instance, I will dip into Stellar. Like when you were mentioning Stellar before, I dropped off before. I
Yeah.
went into Stellar a couple times just to protect it when there was like a down. A down sin at one time, or I go into Red Coin
Mm.
just to increase it. So yeah, so I don't suggest that for everyone if you can manage it. But yeah, I'm one of those people that utilize the exchange. I know I'm bad.
Yeah, no, no, no. Look, we've all been there. I mean, I might still have a few coins floating on exchange, here or there. So, no judgments, but yes, definitely try to secure your coins where you
Yeah.
can. And then yes, then Clara, I think if I were to do like a top 5 to hodl for 2018, sorry, I would do, the big 3, BTC, ETH, Litecoin. I mean, hate it or love it, Ripple. It's not going anywhere. That
Yep.
MoneyGram thing should be big. Western Union also,
Yep.
that thing. And then also, I guess the fifth one, what would be the wild card? There's some more I need to look up. But and I know it's been hyped to the heavens. Steam It's very interesting because it definitely has a use case.
Yep.
Definitely is building up a
Yes.
community. I don't own it yet, but I'm looking forward to owning it. Tron, I think, is definitely a long-term play, but I think it's going to be fine over
Hmm.
time. But yeah, those are the top ones I would say. What's your coin top 5 for 2018?
I would say, well, of course, Ripple. I would
Yep.
say Ripple, Ethos, um, Verge.
Okay.
So that's 3. Power Ledger, of
Okay.
course, and I would say Cardano, but I know Cardano long term, but just
Okay.
because of its market or its total supply,
Hmm.
that's that's kind of a little bit problematic. It's 25 billion.
Right.
But if they're trying to become the next Ethereum or overtake Ethereum, then that doesn't matter. So yeah, I'll throw them in. I'll throw in
Okay.
Cardano
Cardano. All right, and
because
I'll
they
have to
have they
study
all
them. Yeah.
have big communities behind them, a lot of support, a lot of institutional money in some of those coins. Well, actually, in 3 of those coins, in Ripple, Cardano, and Power Ledger. As well, and so you kind of have to look at those. Also, I would suggest for people read the white papers, do your due diligence,
Yes.
look in their communities, make sure that they have
DYOR.
a
Do your own
big,
research. Very key. Very key.
make sure they have a large community
Major
behind them
key.
because that's where you can get a lot of information. And there's also support for the coins because
Yes.
if you look at the coins after this dip, the ones that have big, strong communities, those are the ones that are rebounding.
Yeah, even if
after
it
the
is
game.
like self-reinforced, I mean, it all matters. It
Hmm.
all matters, And some
It
people say
does.
even look at the GitHubs to see if there's been any like activity as far as like updating the code and maintaining it and stuff like that,
Hmm.
because that can tell you a lot about a coin too. I hate to
Yes.
admit it, but I was an investor in Potcoin after the whole Dennis Rodman North Korea thing. I got sucked in by the hype, and that coin lost like 60% of its value while I was holding it. I got out of it. There's no community activity. No one was doing anything really. I hear it made a bit of a rebound recently, but I was out of it. I mean,
Hmm.
besides, I mean, when it comes to this type of stuff, I mean, anyone could just use like a different cryptocurrency for marijuana type stuff, and I'm surprised
Yeah.
they're not doing it anyways yet. But I mean, the community does matter. When I was going on Reddit looking for community support before I dumped my Potcoin, there was none. When I went, looking to GitHub to see if there'd been like update stuff, there were none. So yeah,
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
your own research. DYOR.
Yes.
Good stuff. And
Yep.
then also
And
the
so those are the
last
things I would suggest.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And Reddit is very key. Reddit community, social media, all that stuff. Crypto, Twitter, it's all great.
Hmm.
And then last one
Hmm.
is
And
JJ.
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is just free. I mean, they
Hmm.
should. I mean, well, I'm not saying don't get any ideas, Google, but I mean, they really should be charging for how much free information there is on all this
Hmm.
stuff. I mean, don't pay
Hmm.
anyone anything to learn up on crypto. Just go to YouTube, go to
Yes.
just Google search for stuff, and Google's gotten really good at its AI at lining up the visual crack for you, just to snort it all up, just to watch it all, because every
Yep.
time you're done with one, there's another one you want to watch. It's amazing. YouTube's a
Yep.
great resource.
Yep.
Yeah, good call. And then JJ, final question is this? Oh, and thank you, Claire, for your question. $10 in BTC coming your way. Sorry, Miranda. JJ asks, is this a correction or the popping of the bubble? And that's when I go back to think this picture. It's this is just a normal January in crypto land. Normal January in Bitcoin. It's what it does. It goes down and it pops right back up. People who are into technical analysis and charts are saying this is classic
Hmm.
consolidation. It's kind of going up and
Yep.
down, up and down, up and down, kind of coiling up. It's almost like a spring. All this energy will break out eventually. So I mean, I think we could see 20,
Yep. Yep. I
25K
think.
Bitcoin soon.
Yep, I agree, and I think the whales are also, so you having a lot of different things that are happening, just all of the things that you just mentioned, and I think the whales are also playing their games, which you see them do if you
Yeah.
kind of watch, the charts,
Yep.
and so I think they're trying to scare people. They're shaking the weak hands because, like you mentioned, the bonuses are coming, so people are going to be investing there. The tax cuts with the tax season, people's rebates, that's going to be happening in
Yes.
the institutional money. So I think the market is intentionally being lowered so that when people get in, they can get in at a better position. And so that's why people should get in now to have that platform, because it might be more difficult, in the future.
They're trying to scare you, y'all. Don't let them do it.
Yes,
Don't let them
strong
do it.
hands.
Yes, we can. No, we're strong here. We've been holding since 2013. And so then this week's for the culture. Now, my background is in entertainment, and occasionally I like to talk about things other than Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And I sometimes like to share my views on what I've watching and have been watching. And this is going to shock many of you who have known me over the years as my previous lives as movie critic and avid cineast. But I have never really seen The Godfather. So I set out to watch the Godfather trilogy this weekend. I had no idea each of those bad boys are over 3 hours long, so I only got through one and two. But it was pretty cool. It was there's some all those memorable lines you hear about. In seeing them in
Yeah.
context was pretty
Yeah.
cool. And a lot of stars before they were stars. I mean, it's all these just everyone looks so
Hmm.
young. Yeah, what do you think about The Godfather? Have you seen it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love the Godfather. I've seen it enough, seen all three a number of times, and actually saw, I think it was number three, a part of it during over Christmas when I was visiting my parents,
Nice. Yeah,
and
they're
it
on
was the one
Netflix now.
where Michael went to Nevada, was out in Nevada, and the senator was in. They had that little interesting conversation where the senator basically was like, I don't like your
Yeah, I
people,
don't like you
but
slimy
I'll do business
Italians.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that kind of resonated with me, having done politics and all. Like, yeah, I know that's how that happens. But that's how they do business, though. So it's a good series, and I think it has a lot of life lessons where people can understand how politics works, and also how communities, how people started off at kind of the bottom.
Yeah, as immigrants. I mean, we're a
Italians weren't
nation of
seen as
immigrants.
whites.
Yeah, it's the American dream.
Yeah,
We're a nation
yes,
of immigrants. I mean, a lot of
yes,
people. My mother,
yes.
personally, she came from Panama when she was 12. Everyone,
Hmm.
she had like 7 brothers and sisters. I mean, and she had to kind of
Hmm.
wait her turn because they started going when she
Yep.
was 6. And not rich people, not at all. And just even for her to have her own house, a son who's somewhat self-supporting and doing his own thing. I mean, is an achievement. So we don't always have
Yep.
to. We don't all have to be end up being like a big mob that that's
Hmm.
getting rich in multiple states. Sometimes the American dream is just making it and just having a simple life.
That's
So
right.
remember
But you see
that.
that progression. Yeah, you see that
Yeah.
progression. But it's also an interesting point, also in that same time frame where in Nevada, where somebody from back when he was a child, you knew his father was coming back and wanted the band to play a more of Italian song, and basically he was like, "You're a sellout. You're selling out," and that's kind of interesting to how people are trying to advance themselves and better themselves, and kind of that dynamic with people who want to keep the old ways in their community too. So it's very interesting movie.
Yes, and remember this too. As we all get bit rich and crypto rich, just remember your roots. Remember to use
Hmm.
our newfound wealth for good to bring other people up and to
Yes,
increase our sense of
that's right.
community. That's what it's all about. And
That's right.
so that's
That's right.
pretty much going to do it. I'm my weekly prediction. I'm loath to make any predictions anymore because I suck at it. Last week I said BTC would end up at 16,500. That clearly didn't happen. I'm delusional, and I'm predicting we might still have some pre-Chinese Lunar New Year hangover going on. So next week's prediction, if I must make one, will be $12,700 for BTC. So we'll be on our way back up, but a little bit of slow crawl. I think we might really kind of hit the ground running going into February. But sooner the better. Don't mind me. I don't know what I'm doing over here. But I'd like to give a big thanks to my guest, Patwin Lawrence.
For having me.
Thanks for
I've
hanging in
enjoyed
with
it.
all the technical difficulties. You are a true trooper. I owe you another, I don't know, another appearance either on my show or your show, however you want to do it. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on and spreading your knowledge. It's been good stuff.
All right, thanks.
Do you have anything to plug? I usually ask people if they have anything to plug. Anything to plug of yours?
Well, I do a show on Twin Cities News Talk with my co-host Jamar Nelson. It's the Black Republican, Black Democrat show,
There you
where
go.
we discuss all types of issues, well, mainly politics, but all sorts of issues. We did a Bitcoin show with Eduardo. That's how I know him, and things, but from a black perspective. And we find that that's so critical because so much information doesn't get to our community, like cryptocurrency,
Yes.
and good information, and smart information on how to invest and how to improve your lot, and then do it in a way that's beneficial to the community, not just as an individual. And so that's what our show is about. And so it's on Saturdays at 6 p.m. And then we also have a podcast. Our show is podcast if we're not live on, or when we're live on air, and then sometimes we'll just do the show if we're being preempted, which we will be preempted most of this month because
The
of the sport, the
Vikings.
playoffs. And the
Yes.
Yes,
Dramatic.
wasn't that amazing? I was in Atlanta. I think I heard like people all the way down in Atlanta scream, when Diggs captured, caught the ball and made it to made that touchdown. So
That was
so we're
amazing,
hoping the
yes.
Vikings they just have the Eagles this Sunday, I think,
Yeah, and the Vikings are
and
favorites, and and I'm not like betting directly on the game, whatever. But I might do some fantasy football type
yeah.
stuff. But my money's on the Vikings. I
Yeah.
like your chances.
Yeah, they're trying to get to the their home Super Bowl. That's what they're
That'd be
trying to do.
nuts.
Because usually the Vikings, what you saw in that game Sunday, that's usually what happens to the Vikings, where they're ahead at the beginning, and then usually that third quarter they lose it.
Yep.
They're calling it the Minnesota Miracle because it is a miracle, because usually that would have been it for the Vikings. But
Yes.
they've done well, and so I just hope the best.
All right. Well, I guess we're all Vikings on Sunday. Good luck to your Vikings. Where can everybody find Blacks in Bitcoin? Well, it's in the title, blacksinbitcoin.com. Free for everybody to see and use. You can also follow us on Twitter at Blacks in Bitcoin, Facebook, Blacks in Bitcoin, Instagram, Blacks in Bitcoin. Do you see a theme here, people? We don't have Snapchat, none of that. But also, please subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or wherever your favorite podcasting outlet lives. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have one. It's where where you might have found this podcast by chance.
The better drops on this.
There we go, and I'm back. Sorry about that. Wouldn't have been a podcast without me dropping out a technical difficulty. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks, Patwin, for joining us, and also feel free to use any of my referral links below. Open up a Coinbase account, use my referral link. You'll get $10 with your first $10 deposit on Coinbase, and I'll get $10 if you do so. So appreciate that, and thanks for bearing with us, everybody. Appreciate it, and you know what? If you're into Bitcoin and you love it like I do, like we do, hodl if you hear me. Peace.